Alright, so and what you said about this being an easy room. My brain is comparing my experience now to my experience in other rooms as story editor. I think 90% of the rooms I've been a story editor, except 13 so. Yeah. And there I get to work in a team, right? And there's something about the strength of the people you're working with from a storytelling standpoint. How build the corresponding story muscle that you're doing your banter of. That is pretty much what makes this an easier room than some of the other rooms I've been in. In that we are to break story, and when you're breaking story, what you're trying to do is you're trying to figure out what's the most dramatic, what's the direction you want to go to that gives you the most moments, that fits best with whatever vision the head writer has, right? This is the easiest I've had, and I've not had a lot of experience as head writer to say, okay, in comparison, no. It's more like, in my experience sitting in a writer's room, in my experience being a part of a writer's room, this is so far my best experience because of the relative or the average strength of the storytelling muscle in this room. Right? By the time we hit a story note and we argue 1-2 minutes, there was only why we 1-2 minutes. I think there was just a particular argument that we had which actually strayed a bit. That was when we were talking about the voiceover. Yeah, that was one I just strayed, and it was really just creative different. Aside that, yeah, it's always things just cascade, make things better and whatnot. I've not particularly had this experience in a lot of the other writers' rooms, so I don't know if it is my head writing experience or it's just my writing room experience. I think there's a huge difference with them. So what I would do now is to throw the ball back to the ones that threw the ball to me, because they have been multiple head writers, and so they kind of know they have way more experience than myself. So guys, same question.
Ladies first, please.
You can't have.
I forgot what the question is, to be honest.
What's the function of the writer? What's the work
From your experience, tell us.
Well, basically, you have to build a story. And it's to build story down to the finest detail. What you have before you enter the writer's room is the general plot synopsis of the story. The writers in the writer's room have the responsibility to build story bit by bit. When I say bit by bit, it's from where your character's journey, each step of the way. So what you see in every episode where your character is moving through your story world and doing things and impacting stuff, all of that is built in the writer's room, where your character is sitting down, standing up, kicking the bucket, creating impact. Whatever your writer is doing, whatever your character is doing is built in the writer's room, and it's the responsibility of the writers in the writer's room to come into the room open, because sometimes not all your ideas, pass through the process, and you are supposed to be open to the process, so that even when your ideas are discarded, you are open enough to continue building with the ideas that were picked. I know that some people come in with a chip on their shoulder, and because your idea wasn't picked, you end up being antagonistic, or you get quiet, or you go into yourself. But with experience, people learn to let go of their egos, let go of their pride. When your ideas are challenged in the room, you're not going to carry bottle and break another person's head. So even your disposition as a person comes into play before you are invited into a writer's room. I know that there are writer's rooms where people have been criticized for their ideas and then they cry, because you have to make sure that you're not taking things personal, because nobody's calling you stupid, right? They're just saying that your idea doesn't work for the direction of the story. So what the head writer does is you steer the story in the direction that best pays the characters in your story world, that gives the audience an interesting delicacy to eat at the end of the day. So it's the head writer who says, oh, when everybody's saying, oh, this character should die, it's up to the head writer to say, oh, if this character dies, just take quick things in your head. If this character dies, how does it affect the story? Does it serve us or does it not serve us? And the head writer can come out and say, oh, I don't want this person dying yet. Because the head writer is thinking about the complete picture of what the story is supposed to be like, while everybody gets to, go step by step.
Well, so just add to what people have just said. First responsibility for every writer's room is story development. Story development, you are saddled with the responsibilities of creating what the show will become. And by that is the treatment you get or the pitch you get is really just like a template. I won't even say like a blueprint, because then there's the whole process of discovering what the show would be about within the writer's room, and that's the first task. Within the first 2-3 days, you start to get an idea of what this show can become because of what people are like, the kind of pitches you get. And then, of course, the head writer being like administrator of the story is the one that really like shaping the edges, the rough edges of the stories that come in. And because the work in the writer's room is highly collaborative, it's a system of, it's a thing where we are all here to make the story better, not to make my story better, right? So we are all here to try to discover the head writer's vision. With him, of course, the head writer has certain expectations of what this vision is, but then when you get go through the process of story development and start building character arcs and the rest, he or she can see very clearly, okay, this is the show I want to get right, this is the show I want to make. And then from there, okay, you start splitting the stories into what are the central themes of this show I'm working on. So from there, that's how we try to get out to ABC, right? So okay, it's maybe love, this for Slum King was basically a thing of grief and love, and then grief as a spouse in the crime and family thing, and then of course love for like the love stories. You want stories that have heart. And then after determining that, we now start determining, okay, what are the character arcs throughout each of the episodes, and then in determining what the character arcs, you kind of get a clear sense of the journey it has to achieve. Like the audience have to get a sense of catharsis at the end that, okay, you know what, I am satisfied. Whether it is tragedy, whether it is what's it called, romance, love, happy ending, whatever, it has to feel like a satisfactory end to that person's story. And then from there you start splitting things down to episode by episode, and of course these episodes and the actions have to be consistent with what the character is as a spouse, the character, Bible and all that. So that's like, to complement what Fifi said, that's basically what we do in the writer's room, besides we try to have fun along the way so you do not crash and burn.
Have fun in your rooms?
Yes, we do have fun in our rooms. I put it to you that we are having fun. What we are doing now, it must be fun.
Can you categorically say that storytelling for you as a person has caused you to grow? How?
Yes.
How? How?
Maybe Fatimah just have questions. I think Fatimah.
I'm just comparing myself in 2014 to now, and then 2016 when I actually started entered Nollywood to now. Working in different writers room helps me grow. I work with people about learning or take things personal. At first it's easy to say, because like, oh, but then sometimes it's pain you. But then the point you get to where you realize that, oh, you're here for the story, not for yourself. And I think that's a very relaxing moment where you realize, oh, I'm not here for, it's not me, it's the story. So it's very freeing for me. It's very freeing. And when you realize, oh, before the story, like what works for the story, not what works for. I can carry my own personal thing into it. And growth wise, also I think when you work with different characters, you learn things from characters. Like when you watch, even when you watch certain shows, like see how some like certain characters react to things. You take notes. It helps. Yeah.
I think for me, growth, I would say it's growth in learning from the people, basically the administrator, the people I'm working under, like just hearing people's different experiences and also how they think, how their mind works. Like Fatimah said, like the first time I came into like the writer's room compared to now, I can see very clearly that okay, even if it's down to maybe how my pitching style evolved over the years, or even like the general collaborative nature of the work, and trying to also really inspire new sets of like storytellers and stuff, you have to discover purpose in this work. And I don't know, speaking personally for myself, and like a writer's room, and like going through life in general, punctuated by writer's room experiences with these kind of people, get to come again and realize that okay, from writer's room to writer's room, there's maybe something I didn't quite have, and you feel like if I'm in position to them, other people, maybe I should provide that kind of thing for them, that kind of guidance for them. So it kind of like just helps them, of course, maybe in creating a writer's room, you are literally inviting people into your lives, and you're like, okay, you know what, is this person someone I can join with for a long period of time? In terms of like my projects, we get a sense of, you meet other new writers and you feel like, okay, you know what, this, if I have a project XYZ in my head, this person will be a good fit for that. So it's almost like, for us, especially when you work in TV, you are literally just experiencing lives from, like, it affects the way you are.
It affects the way you see life in
Yeah,
general.
because what is that, like, the first thing is that when you work with different people, it's easy to say people are different. It's also different to experience how different people are. But we like to believe or understood in a whole that you realize people are different, good and bad. Like people are different, and it really helps you. And another thing is to learn that it's actually a job. Like I feel a lot of us forget it's actually work because we're carried away with the casualness we think of it all, and we forget it's a job. And you should.
And you'll be paid to do certain tasks.
And all what you said about like knowing who you want to invite in your room, like also seeing how people care about
the job.
Like if you invite someone to your room and there's this, I don't want to be attached, I don't think it's exciting to work with someone like that. Where they're really determined to form how they don't care that much. Oh, you're carrying the story in your head, where you actually should.
We don't care about the story.
Why they're coming, like they don't want to get to it, like
You
you should. Because there's also a line.
Even just the work itself.
Exactly. Because of course there's a line with the attachment you should carry with. But I think it's important to remember it's a job and you should care about it.
You know the weird thing about being creative on one thing is that most creatives really live within the shell. Especially for writers. Writers are not mostly extroverts. They're very introverted people. They have a world around them, we're built in. And when you're now, because basically, as your own writer, in your head you're like, yes, I know what I'm doing. I'm the best storyteller, I'm the next big thing, I'm this and that, and they take you and invite you to your writer's room, and then you meet several mad people that all think they are the best thing. That's happened. And you have a head writer. No, but that's the thing, because people don't seem to understand, feels as though there's an idea in your head that there is structure in storytelling. There is structure, that's what most writers don't seem to understand. And just as there's structure and there are rules in storytelling, there's also rules in rules like this, whereby and there's hierarchy. That person did not just wake up and be like, oh my god, I need to be a head writer. Or by the original writer, you worked hard and you showed competence in becoming a head writer. And when you're placed in a room like this and you feel, oh my god, all this personality, sure, you can be a very quiet person, very laid back, and you can have all these very multiple personalities that everyone's like, yay. It's at first may seem overwhelming, but you need to understand that you are here to, like I said, it's a job, one, but also if you truly love storytelling, as you can, as a writer, you need to be able to let yourself feel and enjoy the moment. No one wants to take your brilliant story and turn it to shit. We're all there to improve on whatever it is. So when someone tells, oh, I don't like this angle, it's not like you don't, some people don't seem to understand that.
They don't like
you. It's how can we be talking about A, and then you're pitching B, and we're trying to draw it back to A.
What you're saying, I'm not discrediting you by saying it can't go A.
Or you're not good enough.
Or you are not good enough. I'm just saying that because I'm seeing things from a general perspective, especially when it's the head writer giving those notes. Because they are seeing things holistically, they've also had meetings with the producer, they've also had meetings with the network. There are certain things that they know will not just work, that you may not be private to, because you've not just had this level of meetings or interaction with these people. So sometimes if I tell you, or the head writer says, oh, XYZ will not work, right? So it's not you I'm criticizing, I'm just saying in the story, I'm trying to tell you, take things from like this different.
They've said, has anybody had a period in time, either in the writer's room or when you're doing the work, when it occurred to you that this is serious business? For me, it would be Hush Writer's Room. First workshop, I remember I was sitting beside him and they gave us the you know, now what we do is we give people the story 2 weeks ahead.
Yeah.
Do you remember that first Hush workshop? They gave us the paper day. They said you have 30 minutes to pitch. And I remember I was looking like this. I know. I was telling myself I'm creative. But
Great.
They gave us the story. They gave us the Hush story day. And it was like, the writers were on this side of the table. Network was on that side of the table. So you know how intimidating it can be. And they said you have 30 minutes. And you see people like Tunde Aladeshe, you see Victor, you see Wangi. And they're all on that side. And they're serious. And they're waiting. In fact, they were just while we didn't leave the room, we were supposed to be thinking for 30 minutes, and everybody had to pitch. And I had this feeling of, oh my God, I thought I left the corporate world for something casual. It's not casual, it's high pressure. I was under so much pressure to first of all, to impress, because I had heard of some of the names that were in the room, and I knew that if I said rubbish, I would never get that kind of opportunity again. And you know, we have seen some writers who have come into writers' room and never came back. First of all, because either they chickened out, they realized, oh my God, it's too much. So in that moment, I panicked, had a panic, proper panic. But the work has to be done. So does anybody else have a moment?
So I don't know if like a moment like that I had like that, but then maybe it's because I kind of live my life with a certain measure of seriousness, right? So I kind of take things it's very personal.
Yes, you do.
Okay, I don't not with the tone, because it feels very accusatory, right? So I already had that thing, right? But it was because I had to be like that, because my writing journey was very when Popsy was just talking to me. We had like almost 1 year where, because he wanted me to travel out of the country and do my master, and I'm like, I want to be a writer, right? So there was that. So in my head, I had to tell myself, you know what, this is a business for me. So I already like a workspace, and I was going there. So I had to mentally recalibrate myself and tell myself that if I said this is what I'm doing, then my friends doing engineering, this job is exactly as important as that job. So I had to tune myself to make it look like a 9 to 5, where I was going to write 9 to 5 or 9 to 9 or 9 to 8 every day, actually from 9 to 8 every day, roughly, right? So and that thing that this is serious business kind of made me develop a distaste for writers who do not see it like that. Because I think those are the only kind of writers I probably can't ever work with, which is you have all the trappings of a writer.
You look like a writer.
But the actual
sound like a writer.
You sound like a writer.
You dress like a writer.
Dress like a
You
writer.
probably also have an unkempt hair.
You don't have the skills that follow you. You don't have the
Sit down with your laptop. No, I'm just saying that. The question now is,
you sweet like a writer. Sorry guys.
yes, but then sit down, open your laptop, and sit down, open your laptop and work. Because again, when we come here, there is the by 10 o'clock everybody should be here, and by, let's say, we are finishing by 8 o'clock, right? So that gives you a sense of how many hours. 8 plus 3, 8 plus 2 hours. 8 plus 10 to 8. No, that's 10 hours. 10 hours. You have to math things, but you're always.
I'm actually very good at math. Very good.
You don't have any evidence.
So you have this 10 hours, right? In these 10 hours, it's punctuated by, okay, we have like tea breaks and we have lunch and stuff. So minimum we are writing for, let's say, minimum 6 hours. No, let's say 6 hours. Let's say 6 hours. Let's give like on an easy, but you understand on an easy.
Every day.
But it's every day.
And
And
then
then,
time off.
and then guess what? In
Time off.
that 6 hours, some people want to show up and vibe. Like you just want to show up and watch people work, and all you are doing is just verbally say, do this. When the hard work is doing the sitting down and typing to get shit done. You know how, let's say we are working on the beats, and you realize that the pace at which we are going,
We're not finished.
we are not going to finish. It requires, again, and everybody just mutually sits up. I don't know if you got that sense in you where, okay, I'm like, you know what, because I get where we are going and I know this is the pace and it is necessary for us to do this, but then I can contribute at the back 10 episodes that we all have clarity on, sort of.
Yeah.
So let me just punch those 10 out. Then I come back and I circle back, and then it's not a thing of, as you guys are working on that stuff, I'm just, when I know that I have the
I'm
ability to
tweeting.
do this thing,
I'm tweeting.
right, I'm just tweeting,
Oh,
or I'm just
sorry.
being very passive. Do you get? So it's the thing, and then there are people in the writer room who they want to network, but the best form of networking is your work. So I can't come and meet Fifi and be like, oh Fifi man, I've always been looking up to you and I would like to work with you someday.
I put you in a room.
Yeah.
And I want to, but then you are in a room and Fifi is basically looking at what are you doing in this room? Or Steph is looking at what are you doing in this room? Because that's literally your CV. And it's how you show up every day.
Yeah.
So again, that's seriously, we're saying we're a serious business. It's almost like a banker. If a banker wakes up, you are a teller person, whether you are good at it or not, once it's 10 o'clock when it's time to start, you will be before the counter, attending to customers, same with customer care. So because it's creative work and you feel like we are creatives, you only want to work when you feel like it.
So to piggyback on that, I never got that this sense. So I'm usually surprised that when someone do something, I'm usually very shocked. And sometimes who want that one shocked is because I'm going from the corporate world. And by the time I'm coming into this, I had a ton of responsibilities. One, two, I had the recipe for.
Sorry, can you elaborate on that responsibility just for the
Oh yeah, I have family. So I was coming from a place where I was earning good money. I remember one time I was in a workshop with him and
last show.
one of our last show like, and I just showed him how much and the question was why are you here? Because he gave me the opportunity to be in a free, it was free for me at the time. Money is never a problem, so I was there. But so I was leading all of that. So I had responsibility. Then I also had potential shame, which is if you fail, there are people who are waiting. Yes. And so what this did for me put a lot of one guilt. Because one, I had people, there are people who are saying, you know what, better taking this particular decision, and this is going to affect you, whatever it is you're doing, or I'm taking a particular decision. So I had that guilt of, like, just in case, almost like a future type thing, and I had that shame thing. Which is now a thing of, for me, this is now served as propellants. It might, to some people, they are negative type propellants, and they cost me maybe I'm giving myself to come to unhealthy point, right? But what it did for me was to come into the industry with a certain drive. And it is evidenced by how much time I spent in the industry vis-a-vis the amount of things I've accomplished in the industry. Because I do attend to literally every project that see, you know what, this is my best, this is the greatest opportunity ever, and I bring that to them. So when I see another person in the room chilling, it baffles me. Like, I don't understand. So I refuse to.
Not as a writer.
Empathize.
Not as a writer.
As a human being. So that's why I don't. As a human being. But the most as a
Not in
writer.
a room. Not in a writer's room where everybody's struggling to make sure the story is great.
Especially when we've all been paid. Or we are like we signed contract now.
Sometimes I don't even think of the money. Sometimes I even think, don't you even feel shame? Any sense of shame? Like so we the workshop. Let me do the dilemma workshop. So dilemma workshop, you have to pick people. I think we have this little one sometimes where you can't tell.
It's just
You can't tell something. Now, me and my group member, I'm not going to specify the particular workshop. So everybody in will be guessing. When my group members were teaching, and there are times I need the ground to open up and swallow because I am ashamed of it. And then I now see and I want to express my shame with my next person so that by tomorrow, we beef up. Let's shame drive us because I'm used to shame driving me, right? I'm part of that shame, but I'm very aware of it. I'm very self-aware. But I see my other person and then it's right there. Like it's this. I don't understand that. So this, I've always been quite serious about it. Always, and I also think there are different levels of success. Personal one, and at some point wants to be subject to people, to lead people and their legacy type of thing. So my head was always be successful on your own. Be the person that is so forget about people looking at you. But you get to a particular point in life, whatever it is you are doing, you want to become some sort of example. You want to be able to tell the next person, oh, if you do this thing this certain way, you will get. And sometimes I think if I'm not showing up properly to workshops, to the job, what am I going to say in the next 10 years, the next 15 years?
And to also just add to this thing, it's that we know that in order to become good at certain things, you have to fail at certain things. But there are some of us that do not have the luxury of failing at this thing. At a certain level. So it's not a question of, oh, so I can fail and learn in my writing journey. But to fail at writing, there is no banking job waiting for me. Like there is no alternative. There is no
bridges. A long time ago.
Do you understand? So again, the question now is, so why am I not going into this thing with 100 and
there's even something else here. There's a way you can be a part of the project that is successful, but everyone has to say the success also just you. Right? And then you come out and people expect that type of success. Or that level of personality from you. So you are part of a project like Covenant or Dilemma or Real Now and people just like, okay, you know what? Fatimah wrote on this. So I won't want to see Fatimah write on her own. That's like one. And if she hasn't been pulling out,
if you don't let the process grow you into becoming that working at that level,
it will show. And it's very painful. It's very painful because at the there's this about it that 20 friends cannot stay for 20 years together. We know that. But it's usually very painful if you have a set of people who you have to do. It's usually painful. I'm that type of person who I feel that pain. But I can empathize, but then I'm pragmatic enough to say, but when some things are being done, when some things could have been done, you refuse to.
There's a post that is very something else, but the post is very sometimes we have to do things. Like we know that we are in a relationship and I can't keep pulling you.
That's like.
Do you understand?
Yeah.
I was let's say we started off being like friends. And there's a thing of course I want my friend to succeed, but then I cannot want to succeed more than you want yourself to succeed. And then because we are friends, you want us to just have casual conversations. Unfortunately for me, because I attend everything with a certain level of seriousness, I have to be the person that yes, a thing that's something to do, and it's fine. Do you understand? Since you can't make a decision for us, I will make a decision because again, you are not quite ready. You think you are, you say you are, but you have to explain something otherwise. And it's a great place for creatives to be in. Because again, I literally can't help.
Have you finished up yours? Like,
Do you understand?
There's already so much you are aiming for. There's already so much you're trying to build. Okay, and then you can encourage people. But the thing is that growing yourself is up to